I'm testing today Qatar Airways business class. Long-haul business these days is much more than a comfortable chair. It's about an end-to-end experience, from the check-in to picking up the luggage. Qatar Airways sit at the top of airline world. Let's see if they still got it right and flying Qatar is still worth it. Today it's a rather short 6-hour flight from Milan Malpensa to Doha, at the starting point of what is proper long-haul, but good enough to experience everything you need on a long-haul flight. The check-in zones are grouped by alliance, so not surprisingly, Qatar is next to British Airways. I'm less than 2 hours before the flight, but the check-in area is completely empty. Makes me wonder if I came to the wrong place. Either check-in was extremely efficient or every other passenger came way before. Few clicks, bags in, boarding passes out. But here was a first surprise. Check-in agents couldn't issue a boarding pass for connecting flight. It was under Qatar QR code but operated by different airline. Not a big deal, but if you sell the ticket under your code, you should take care of connecting the systems. Milan got a fast-track lane at security and I'm going to use it. No need for any special invitation, just the business class boarding pass. Everything looks a little old-fashioned but works well and fast, so can't complain, and I get through security in no more than 5 minutes. Let's now look for the lounge, but before that still need to go through immigration. Unlike security, there is no fast lane there, but there is no queue either. The airport shopping area is actually in between the two, and here you are reminded once again that you are flying from a fashion capital. Qatar uses Mantale Lounge. In general, Emirates Lounge is considered to be the best in Malpensa. I was there before, but I didn't find it to be very special. So let's see what Qatar got. Alright, so let's see what we got at Mantale. It's not bad, actually rather good. It's a mid-sized lounge, clean and seems like fairly recently renovated. Definitely much more modern than the airport itself. There is lots of different seating and it didn't feel very crowded during the hour I spent there. As usual, there is a kind of dining area and more quiet areas further away. Food selection was quite decent but nothing really special. The best part about the lounge are the panoramic windows with a great view of the apron and planes taxiing there. There is plenty of chairs right by the windows which are great for observing the airport. One thing that was missing out to my mind was a good coffee machine. Being in Italy, somehow you expect the best, the proper espresso machine and a barista. But here we are, it's just a regular automatic coffee machine, doesn't seem like the best one and definitely not the newest one. This could be such a really nice touch for the lounge. If someone from the airport hears that, definitely an area for improvement. Time for boarding. The gate is close to the lounge, just few minutes walk and I'm there. Here is the 777 I'm going to take today. I'm early for the boarding and there is again very few people at the gate, similar to check-in desk. It looks like either my flight is going to be half empty or everyone flying Qatar is extremely disciplined, came very early for boarding and already on the plane. No surprise that I'm through in no time and ready to board the plane. Business class is boarded through a separate air bridge, which is always a small nice touch. It doesn't really change anything in this case as there is not too many people, but anyway makes you feel a little special. So let's get inside and see what Qatar Airways got for me this time. I'm stepping through the door, past the galley. I can't keep a bit disappointing whisper. It's not Q-Suite, Qatar famous business class product. My today's 777 got a reverse herringbone 1-to-1 cabin. I know this product very well. It's good, it's very good, but it got only one problem, big problem. It's not Q-Suite. Anyway, it's not the end of the world. Let's see what we got here. There are pillows, blankets, amenities box, wet napkin. All looks quite nice. Let's get settled into the seat and start exploring in details what this 777 got for me this time. Blanket. It's in Qatar signature burgundy color, nice and soft on touch and looks very good. Meanwhile, the cabin crew is very quick to serve the welcome drink. I go for champagne this time. Cheers for a very good flight. Let's have a quick check of entertainment system. The familiar Qatar interface and touchscreens, but somehow everything works very slow. You keep punching the screen with your fingers, but nothing seems to happen. Makes you think of early day Nokia smartphones. Are they also running Windows 95 on this plane? The main interface looks fine, well, it's Qatar standard, but the feeling of 90s gets even stronger when you get into flight info mode. Come on, this map would look great on Pan Am flight in the 80s, but you would expect something a little better these days. Anyway, we are still on the ground, so not much use to cycle through the flight info. Let's then explore something more interesting, the food menu. There is a choice of 4 mains: Angus beef fillet, local Qatari fish, cordon bleu chicken and risotto. The descriptions for all 4 look pretty good. Qatar is a Muslim country, so no big surprise that you have a big list of non-alcoholic beverages, starting from some bubbles and then going into coffees and teas, hot and iced, and then also some mocktails, juices and many other things. It definitely looks very, very interesting and I'm going to try something.
Walkways must be clear at all times. Get your stuff out.
But let's move to a dedicated wine list and learn a bit more what's on offer there. I have to say it looks very solid. I'm eyeing an Australian Shiraz to accompany the Angus beef fillet, very much looking forward to both. I'm looking at all of those wines and somehow now I feel sorry that my flight is only 6 hours, otherwise that would be a nice wine tasting experience on board of this 777. But there is something else that attracts my attention. It's a cocktail list. You don't get this on all airlines, so definitely something interesting to try. I'm hesitating between whiskey sour and old fashioned, so something to think about before I make the order. Done with the menus, let's explore further the seat and what we got here. Handset and controls. Looks okay, but they are unmistakably older generations. And those IV plugs speak for themselves. This was all designed in a day when iPod was a big thing. I start paying more attention to details and you can't help but notice some signs of age. Spots on upholstery and other little things, which are not critical but somehow chip away from that luxury feeling you expect from Qatar. I was missing headphones and now I found them. We'll look later, but plastic bag doesn't send premium vibes. Let's have a closer look then at amenities. Comes from Diptyque, a boutique French brand which is more known for its perfumes and candles, but also has a very niche premium body care products. Here I think Qatar got it well done. Nice selection of products and the right size for your travel needs. Time to check the lavatories. It's the same Diptyque products there, but somehow it doesn't look so appealing. That half-empty bottle really spoils the impression. The lavatory is clean but basic with very few premium touches. We are starting to push back exactly on time, and it's time to get more comfortable. So far mixed feelings about this cabin. It's nice, but it's not extraordinary. And there is a simple explanation to that. This is not a regional Qatar plane. Still before COVID, Qatar got into fight with Airbus about some issues with their A350s and grounded its fleet. To fill the gap, they leased some 777s from its One World associate, Cathay Pacific, and kept them for a few years. The issue with Airbus was settled few years later, but Qatar finally permanently acquired those 777s and settled them for good into their fleet. The aircrafts were repainted into Qatar livery, cabins redecorated, mostly, but Qatar never retrofitted their seats, rather continued to use legacy seating of Cathay. This is where those reverse herringbone seats coming from, and that's why you could still see some details in Cathay green rather than Qatar burgundy. I bet that I could also find some signs in Chinese characters in the lavatories. They always keep the secrets. We are taking off. Malpensa is really close to Alps, so on a good day you get a spectacular view over the mountains. But today is raining and overcast, so expectations are low, and rather I'm focusing on the service that is coming soon. So far, the hard product of Qatar was 4 out of 5 to my mind. But I think the soft product has all the chances to improve this impression. And most likely it's all about expectations. I was waiting for Q-Suite, I got something else, I got a little disappointed. But let's really give Qatar the chance. We are reaching the cruising altitude quite quickly. It's daytime and not likely that anyone will be sleeping, but the first thing that the crew does is closing the window shades. It's a little better for watching the screens, but not sure if really that important. The service starts almost immediately with the snacks, actually 2 of them. First come dates, accompanied by something that they call Arabian coffee. They serve it from oriental-looking coffee pots, but it looks and tastes quite strange, more like some gingery drink than a coffee. It's followed by another set of snacks and a choice of beverages. I get my Coke Zero, and thank you Qatar for having it, and no, it's not the same as Pepsi. The mixed nuts are good, but it would be nicer if they warmed them up. As I get my snack and Coke, it's time to watch some movies, so let's explore the headset finally. Once again, I have to tell, good but not great. For sure it's not earplugs, but it's as entry level as it gets for proper headphones. I would not be surprised to get this on American carriers, but I expected a little bit more from Qatar Airways. Finally through the clouds and get that beautiful blue sky view. This is my favorite moment in flying. Breaking dull grey clouds and getting into sunlight and blue sky. Internet is quick to be turned on and it's easy to connect to onboard Wi-Fi. I still struggle to understand why most of airlines still charge for Wi-Fi in long-haul business class. Isn't it paying couple €1,000 for one-way ticket enough? Anyway, Qatar charges $10 for whole flight access and it's rather reasonable compared to other airlines. The meal time is coming up. Tablecloth is served. We get a small bread basket, a butter, a small olive oil bottle, and nice salt and pepper shakers. The bread tastes nice, but can't understand if they really warmed it up. I particularly like this little lamp. It's a very simple thing, but gives a very nice touch. Here is the pre-starter. Actually, they call it in a French manner, amuse-bouche. It sounds a little unexpected and a little strange, but it also gives definitely a premium feel and clearly connects it with fine dining experience. It's small and unmistakably French style. It's also very good, some kind of crab cake, small but delicious. Then the real starter comes, which tastes every bit as good as it looks. Really delicious prawns, perfectly cooked and beautifully presented. I also have to give credit to the crew. They keep track how you progress with the meals and neither push you by standing next to you with the next meal coming, but they also not making you wait for the next one too long. As I'm done with the starters, here is the time for the main course. And then goes beef fillet, some vegetables and gratin potatoes with a glass of Shiraz to wash all that away. There is also a sauce for the meat in a small jar, a very nice touch. All looks good and appetizing, tastes very well, but maybe one stop short of being excellent. The meat is a little dry. I'm clear that you would never get it the same way as on the ground, but I had a better one in the air. And finally a chocolate dessert and a cup of tea to finish off the meal. All good, no comments here, well done. As I'm done and the dishes are taken away, I realize what was bothering me. The table is too close to you and somehow you cannot adjust it and move slightly away. Let's now get back to movies. Maybe it's that Shiraz or maybe the older touch screens, but it's really frustrating to navigate as the screens are not responsive and you keep hitting the wrong items. At the end, I give up and have to use the remote. As I set myself for movies, I recall about those cocktails. Let's make a perfect movie night and I get a whiskey sour. I really wish I didn't do it. It was a total disappointment. Not sure what they did with it, but it felt like it was only whiskey and lemon juice, completely missing egg white and syrup. I took one sip and I had to send it away. On my second trip to the lavatory, I actually find what I was thinking about. This is for sure ex-Cathay plane. Bathrooms remember everything. It's not a massively long flight, so we are getting close to Doha and start seeing the lights of the cities along the Gulf Coast. The cabin is getting busy with people in and out of the bathrooms and flight attendants making all the checks and preparations for the landing. By now I have entertained myself as much as I could with all the amenities, food and drinks, equipment of the seat and movies, so the only thing that is left is to watch through the window. Unfortunately, the flight path seems to be a bit further away from Doha skyline, or maybe I'm just on the wrong side of the plane. One small advantage that Qatar neighbor and competitor Emirates has is a much more picturesque approach to the airport. You fly over Palm Islands and Dubai World, which look amazing from above at any time of the day. But that's not something I would be blaming the airline for. Time to conclude my experience with Qatar Business Class today. It was very good, but one step short of being great. And I know that it could be better with Qatar. Unlike some other airlines, which have a high level of consistency between different products and different aircrafts, Qatar experience is very much dependent on which aircraft you get. Its flagship product, Q Suite, is just great. But today I had an older ex-Cathay Pacific aircraft with reverse herringbone cabin, which was good, but showed a lot of signs of aging. Also a bit basic screens and older electronic equipment, and very narrow footwell when the seat in a fully flat position. The soft product and the onboard service was very good and very close to great actually. Friendly and attentive crew, very nice food, good amenities. Still some elements to improve. Those headphones would not be great for a longer flight, and cocktail was really disappointing. If you cannot get it right for some reason, then it would be just better to serve straight drinks, otherwise overpromise and underdeliver. Altogether, I would give it 4 out of 5 for a very good flight. It's definitely much better than most of legacy European and North American carriers, but it would be hard to pick a winner when compared to Emirates or Singapore, at least not for this flight. I know that I would be happily flying Qatar Airways again and again, but I also know that next time I'm going to be much more carefully looking for what kind of seating I'm getting. And definitely the major choice is going to be if I'm going to get Q Suite or I'm going to fly one of any other older cabins.